Hi friends, today we are going to see about data types. So what is data types? Data types helps us to determine what type of value you are going to store it in a variable. Like it can be an integer that is a whole number 2, 5, 10, or it can be a floating point number that is 2.5, 6.7, or it can be a simple single character or a string. Let's see which are the different types of data types available in C. So basically the data type is divided into three types: primary, derived and user defined data type. In primary data type we have again four different categories. The first is integer. It determines that we are going to store whole numbers here, or it can be a floating point data type which is float or double, or it can be a character data type, or the last one is void data type. Void data type is basically used in functions and pointers. Next is derived data type. Derived data type derived from primary data type. In that we have two types of data type. One is arrays and pointers. Arrays are used to store multiple values in a variable, while pointers are used for efficiently storing a data inside a memory. These are complete chapters in C programming language, which we'll be seeing later on and not in this particular video. The next one is user-defined data type. They are of two types. One is type def and another is enum. So let's see some more details about primary and user-defined data type. So in primary data type, the first one is integer data type. Integer data type is used for storing whole numbers without floating point values. So for this data type, we are going to see three important aspects. That is the memory size, that is how much bytes it occupies in a memory. Next is the range. Range will determine what would be the minimum and the maximum value of the data type. And the next is format specifiers. That is for input-output functions like printf and scanf, what would be the format specifier for this particular data type. Also for integer data type, we have qualifiers. There are four qualifiers, which is short, long, signed and unsigned. So let's see which are the different integer data types with their qualifiers and what it actually means to the compiler. So the first one is integer data type. Integer data type means it is used for storing whole numbers. Either you can write int, all in small letters, or you can write signed int. The qualifier is signed. It means you can store either positive or negative number, but it should be a whole number without floating point value. The size of int data type is 2 bytes and the range is -32768 to 32767. The maximum value that you can store it int is 32767 and the minimum value is -32768. In case of printf and scanf, the format specified that we are going to use is %d. Next is unsigned integer. Unsigned integer means unsigned, as the name itself suggests, that we are going to store positive numbers. There will be no sign before a number. It means we can store only positive numbers here in case of unsigned int. Again, that size is 2 bytes same. Now, since it is of positive numbers, so the range would in this case would be 0 to 65535. The format specifier is %u. Next is short integer. Short int means we are going to store integer value, but it would be of smaller value. The size is 1 byte in the memory and this range is -128 to 127. So if you think that if you in your particular program, if a number does not exist more than 127, so better go for short int instead of int data type, because it will help you to save your memory. The format specifier is %h. Next is unsigned short int. Unsigned short means we are using two qualifiers here. It means the positive, we can store only positive values but of shorter range. The memory size is 1 byte and since it is unsigned qualifier, so the range is 0 to 255. The format specifier is the same, that is %h. Next is long signed integer. Long signed integer means we can store a very large value and it can be a positive or a negative value. The size is 4 bytes and this is the range of it. The format specifier is plus percentage small l. Long unsigned int means again it is of 4 bytes. We can store a very large value, but all should be of positive number, not a negative number. So the range would be starting from 0 to 4294967295. This is the maximum number you can have it in long unsigned int. And the format specifier is percentage %lu. So this is the way how you can go for integer data type use in your program. Depending on the number, maximum number, you can go for int, short or long int. Okay, the next is floating point data type. Floating point data type means the numbers which contains a fractional part, that is a floating point value like 5.6, 2.9 and so on. In this case, in a floating point data type, the precision that is used is 6 digits. Precision means after decimal point, you will always have minimum 6 digits in a number. So there are three categories of floating point data type. One is float, double and long double. The size are 4 bytes, 8 bytes and 10 bytes respectively. These are the range for each case. Okay, so if you want to have a floating point value of range of maximum 3.4 e raised to 38, you can go for float. If you want a higher number, go for double, or still higher number and you can go for long double. The format specifier here is percentage %f, percentage %lf and percentage %LF. Okay, so floating point you can go for either float, double or long double depending on the usage or the use of the numbers. Next is character data type. Character data type means you can store a single character in a variable. For this, the data type is char, char, all in small letters. It occupies 1 byte of memory, and the format specifier for input-output functions like printf and scanf, it is %c. Let's see how you are going to use a character data type with a simple example. Char C. The data type is char. The variable is C. If I want to store the value X inside C, I'll be enclosing it with single quotes. So for in character data type, compulsory use single quotes for the values that you are storing it in a variable. So character data types can be of signed or unsigned character. Signed character means having positive as well as negative value. Means in a character data type you can store -5, -10 or +5, +10 value. But it would be stored in a character format, that is its ASCII value would be converted into binary and stored it in a memory. So the range for character data type is -128 to 127, and for unsigned character it is positive values, means 0 to 255 is the range for it. Next is void data type. So the last primary data type is void data type. Void data type means no values here. It is used in case of functions. For function, the return type in a function can be a void or it can be of any other data type. Also in pointers, void data types are used to create void pointers. So as I said, functions and pointers are a complete chapter in C. So we'll be seeing the details about what is void pointers and what is return type in a function later on. Right now just understand that add is a function which has two variables a and b as an input parameter, and the return data type here I mentioned is void. Write some executable statement here in this particular function, that is printf. So the value of addition of a and b would be displayed, but this particular function is not going to return any value. So since it is void, okay, if it is returning value, we can write either int or float data type. Details we'll see later on. Next is user-defined data types. Okay, so primary data type we have seen, that is int, float, char and void. Now we'll come to user-defined data type. User-defined data type, as the name itself suggests, that this data type is been created by the user. The name for this data type is given by the programmer. So there are two ways of making user-defined data type. One is type def, another is enum. How to use type def now? So type def means giving new name to an existing data type. How you are going to use type def? So follow the syntax for this. What is the syntax here is type def all in small letters. Then afterwards, after space, write down the data type name. Data type means the existing data type which we have already seen in the previous slides, like int, float, long double and so on. and after space you give the new name for this particular data type. Okay, so you are giving a new name to this particular existing data type by using typedef function. So let's see how you're going to make a user defined data type with an example. So typedef short int is my existing data type, short is the qualifier, int is my data type. I want to give another name, that is small int. All in capital, it can be a capital or it can be in small letters also, depending upon your choice. And semicolon means I'm giving a new name to short integer and my new name is small int. Similarly, you have another example here, that is typedef long int and the name is given as big int. So two data types have been created. One is small int and big int for the name short integer and long integer. Now I can use this particular new name of this data type for creating variables. How you are going to do is small int x comma y. So x and y are the variables which is of data type small int, and small int is actually a short int. Similarly here I mentioned big int a comma b, means a and b are the variables of data type big int, and big int is actually the long integer. Okay, so this way you can give your own name to an existing data type by using typedef function. Next is enum. So what's enum? So enum is a set of name constants called enumerators. Means if you have different values or a constants, you can give a specific name to this particular constants using enum. So let's see how to make an enum data type. So enum, give the name of the data type, and in braces you can give name constants, name1 comma name2. It means that I'm creating a data type which can have all these possible values, name1, name2, name3 and so on. So let's see with an example. Enum rainbow colors. So I've created a new data type which is rainbow colors, and inside braces I've given some few names of the colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo and violet. Means I'm creating a new data type rainbow colors. This data type can only hold all these possible values which has been mentioned in the braces. Now what the compiler will do is the compiler will assign an integer value to all these named constants. The values, integer value will start with 0. So red will have the value 0, orange will have the value 1, yellow will have the value 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 7 values starting with 0, which has been assigned to this particular red named constants. If suppose you are interested in giving some different value other than what the compiler has assigned, you can do that also. How you are going to do is enum rainbow colors. So I'm creating a new data type. The name constants are the same as before, but I'm giving some new different integer value to this particular colors. Instead of starting with 0, I've given the value as 1 to red. So red equal to 1 means red will be assigned the value 1 and not 0. So orange I've not given any numbers. Automatically the compiler will take it as 2. Yellow I've given the value as 5. So green will have the value 6. Blue will have the value 7. Indigo will have the value 8 and violet will have the value 9. So whenever you don't give any values to the next name constants, automatically compiler will take the next higher number from the previous number. So since it is 5, so this will be considered as, will be given the number 6 and so on. Now let's see how you are going to use this particular data type. So rainbow colors is my data type which has been created. This traffic lights is my variable name now. So traffic light is of data type rainbow colors. If I want to give any value to this traffic light, I'll use my assignment operator. So equal to red. I can have only this possible values in traffic lights. That can be red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo or violet. I cannot use any other color other than this. So traffic lights equal to red means red is assigned a value to this traffic light. It can be 0 or it can be 1 depending on what we have initialized. Okay, so let's see one more example with respect to using enum in your C program. So rainbow colors is my data type and A is the variable. Now I want to assign some value inside this A. So A is equal to green. If you want to display the value of A, then you'll use printf color equal to colon would be printed as it is onto the screen. I've used a format specify %d means a number would be displayed, and this number you will get it from the variable a. What is a? A is equal to green. What is the value for green? That is 6. If you look out this, so 5 and then 6. So the output in this case would be color colon 6 would be displayed onto the screen. So this was all about enum. Enum means consisting of set of name constants, and each named will be given some value either by the compiler or by the user. So that's all for now. Thank you. Goodbye.